You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Hello, good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, goodbye. How are you doing? How are you feeling, everybody? Welcome along. This is Leicester Till I Die TV, LTID TV. Thank you for joining us, whether you are watching on YouTube or listening to us via your favourite podcast platform. How the devil are you? Welcome along. Still basking in the glory, still taking the piss out of Leeds. Why not? It should be made a national law. Everybody can take the piss out of Leeds United. We did a championship preview show the other night with Doug from Dugout Football Channel. Very decent of him to come on. If you want to know who I think will win the playoffs, nip over and see there. Doug didn't agree with me. Interesting. Of course, he's wrong. I'm right, as you would expect. This evening, we're going to be looking back at our season review. Why not? It's horrible outside. Who wants to be outside in this weather? Kate, by the look at the way she's dressed, but that's another story. Dave probably needs to, Dave's desk has risen, so he needs to just lower his camera a little bit. But welcome along. Oh, he's on the red wine. God help us. Can I just say, I have mentioned this a few times, and I will just get the banner up. That's Banner Dave. That if you would like, isn't that good? Isn't that good? If you'd like to actually buy one, underneath it's the website. That's where you can get them. Art-of-football. And I can't remember the rest, whether it's .com. I'll tell you in a minute when he comes round. Here we go, art-of-football.com. They've not only got this, they've got a full selection of LCFC shirts. Kate was saying they've got one with all the old shirts over in little mare. I mean, they've got a huge selection, and a selection that they've done with Easy Life as well, the Leicester band. So, yeah, it's all good. Get over there and check them out. They're very, very good friends of the channel. Now, we were a little bit late, and I'm sorry about that. Kate was having problems with a little stinger, and Dave was having problems with his moves. But let's start, and let's bring in my first guest this evening. Handsome, beautiful, sexy, good-looking, absolutely lovely in a pair of shorts. Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to see you all this evening. How are we all?
We are all good. How are we? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, we're good.
You've been drinking, I can tell.
Well, I haven't actually. This is my first one because I obviously did a response.
Excuse me. That was full 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, I haven't had a drink for days, weeks, or since Sunday.
You're like a camel, mate. You can go for a long time between drinks.
Yeah.
But let's bring the old grumpy pensioner in. I think I may have got my cards the wrong way around here. Kate, it's the last one of the season. I can get away with it. Kate, welcome along.
Hello.
How are we feeling? All right? But you had a bit of a scare just before we came live.
Yeah, there was a wasp that flew in the room, and I hate them. So a bit of a moment, a bit of a last minute change of plan, and then
can I just say, has it come back? Please say it has. Please say it has. Oh, damn.
It probably hates you as well, Kate.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that. But when you don't like someone, you just should avoid them at all costs. So I wish you'd just avoid me.
I've tried that with Dave, but it keeps coming back.
You keep inviting me. I don't know why. I thought I'd give one show a go and see, you know, at least I'll put that on my bucket list.
There's a fine line between love and hate, isn't there? So maybe that's it.
Yeah, there is. And Dave, we're short of people wanting to come on.
Okay, fair enough.
Dave, that glass was definitely full like 3 minutes ago.
It was, wasn't it? Yes.
I don't think
going on the dregs.
Yeah.
It's actually deceptive. It's deceptive.
Behind you and pour it.
It's deceptive.
Did you?
It's actually a pint glass.
She tried to do that quietly, secretly.
No, we saw her. Do you know when you went on holiday to Spain and you had one of those, not carafes, one of those in your mouth?
Giraffes, yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was going to use one of them on you. You know, cut out the glass. Just go straight down the throat. I bet you've said that a few times, Dave. Anyway.
I've got to talk to you for 2 hours, Chris. I need something, some sort of crutch.
I can leave you and Kate to get on with it. Well, no, that's probably. Hi, Fields is in. Jolly good evening. Hi, Fields. How the devil are you? Jamie Vardy is in. Hello, Jamie. How are you? How's the hangover? Mike is in. Hello, Mike. Hello, he's back again. Glad to see you, Mike. Did give you a video a like that you recently did. And Nate is in. Good morning to you. Yes.
Good evening.
Over there, indeed. I can just say, Kate, your friend, Adi, BBC Radio Leicester breakfast host.
Oh, yeah.
May be joining us on a show.
Awesome.
Within a few weeks. So he's just on holiday at the moment, but hopefully when he gets back, he will be joining us. I don't know why he bothers doing the breakfast show. There's only one decent breakfast show, isn't there? I realised after I spoke to him, is this show big enough for 2 breakfast hosts? I don't know. I don't know. That is the part. But look, we're going to have a look at the season and we're going to go through it. So I have explained to Dave, everybody, that there is a format to this show. Now the question is, will he stick to it? That's the big question. I don't hold out much hope, if I'm really truly honest with you, but you never know. But let's start. We'll come to you first, Dave, because you're under me, and that's something I never thought I'd say. At the end of last season, got relegated. Who was going to come in? What was going to happen? Where's it going to go? And then, of course, we're all feeling a bit down. We're all saying who we wanted. We're hoping it wasn't going to be Jesse Marsh or Bielsa or even Alan Pardew, you know. I was saying I'd love Thomason from Blackburn, who's already gone off to Sweden. Or I'd love McKenna from Ipswich, which, looking at it, wouldn't have been a bad shout. But then suddenly, and probably we needed this guy joined us.
Never heard of him before.
Exactly. You know,
am I repeating on you?
Yes, but I have taken some Gaviscon, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be okay.
Okay. Do I sound semi-normal? Well,
I'll let you answer that one, Kate.
The reason I ask is because, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're
just did a bad interview. Am I right? Thank you, darling. No, I don't think I really knew who he was. I knew he was assistant manager at Man City, but then, to be honest, who really bothers about that? So it was certainly a bit of a surprise. But then, so was Ranieri, and you have to, accept that these guys know what they're doing. There's been so much rubbish spoken this year about Top not knowing what he's doing and all this, and the board being sacked and this rubbish. And he came in and nobody knew who he was. And well, look at it. What can you say?
Yeah.
He expected us to have a little bloop. Did he say in Leicester bloop or bad time? And we did. And he told everybody we'd have one, and we did. So there you go. You can't knock him for that.
No, Kate. I said the other day on the show, it was probably what we needed. I mean, I think I'd resign myself to, well, if it was Dean Smith, it wasn't, the worst choice in the world. Anybody but Jesse Marsh, as they say. But I mean, that picture there with the Champions League trophy, it was taken 6 days before he walked through our door. And the buzz that went round, it was only a little bit later when we started looking into, well, what's experiences he had, apart from being a number 2, 13 or 12, 13 games at Parma, and they sacked him. But at the start, that didn't matter. It was just the buzz that it was, A, it was Pep's number 2, B, there he was holding the Champions League trophy. That was what we needed as a club, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It was quite truly Leicester in the appointment, in that it was refreshing. It was completely left field. And it was a guy that was hungry enough, young enough, and wanted to prove himself. He's got something to prove, that he's got the pedigree, he's had the training, and can he actually put it into full effect in a really competitive British league? So... And he did it. He absolutely did it. It was really exciting. It was, obviously seeing the success of Arteta coming off the back of being Pep's number 2. There was a lot of noise around that as well. So, yeah, it was. I think we hoped that we'd see Man City style football, and we have had to a degree. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't questionable of the appointment at all, because I trusted Top and the board and the process of recruitment, which we've done before. And I don't think in Top's era, really, I don't really think he's done a lot wrong in the management side of things, in the appointments. We've always done our homework. So not just Top, sorry, and Vishai as well. The appointments have always been very well researched, and yeah, it was exciting. It was left field, never really heard of him, but it was really exciting. It
was. I don't know if anybody's seen. I mean, somebody sent it to me. I hadn't seen it, but it was a little video that's going around of, it must be Top in either his office, or he's got an office at home. Pop. And his nickname's the Weasel. But no, and he's watching it on a big screen with 2 friends, I'm guessing, or family.
Oh,
yeah. And he's going, obviously it was the Preston game, and we won, and he's going absolutely mad. And to me, and I don't know if you've seen it, have you, Dave?
It wasn't the Preston game. He was watching the QPR game. Because he was at Preston.
QPR Leeds.
The QPR Leeds game. He was
that was it. Yep, the QPR Leeds. Yeah, it was the game that saw us. Promoted, wasn't it? And I mean, to me, it comes across more as a fan rather than an owner.
Well, I heard he was a fan. That was the whole point of buying Leicester. I mean, I don't know whether this was true or not, but when it first happened, I mean, how long have they been involved? 10 years or more? More now, isn't it? I heard that was the reason Leicester were chosen, because Top was a fan as a young lad. I can't think why, because we weren't very good, were we then? But that was what I'd heard. The first
match you saw was Leicester Middlesbrough in the
in the Carling Cup or whatever it was.
It was at that point. I always say it's easy to say League Cup, then you know whether it's Milk, Worthington, Carling, whatever.
Oh, I played that song as well, Frank Worthington. Anyway, I mean, that's why, and that's why nobody should ever doubt his commitment ever. And that's what I think made me angry throughout the season, because these know-nothings come on, and that's why I don't like Twitter and stuff like that much, because it attracts the worst sort of people, because they don't get answered back.
You and me, Kate, we're on Twitter. That's what I'm trying to say. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
But you know what I'm saying, don't you? I mean, some right knobs that go on there. So really, you don't want to get involved with those. And even today, I was looking at something. I don't know what it was, some news story, and I started reading the comments. And I can't be bothered with all this. Nice jammers, Chris.
I want to break. Where's his bagpipes?
Yeah, I think they mean. Well, we'll look for your pants.
God knows
where's Brad when I need him?
They are lounge pants, if you don't mind.
Where's Brad when I need him?
To give them their official title.
I got a pair of them, but they're not that colour.
Can't just have plain ones. But no, but Kate, I mean, I've only seen it today, and yeah, an owner should be celebrating the fact that his team have got promoted, but that it did seem to come across more than just a boss celebrating, didn't it?
Yeah, but it shows as well because the person that took that video was his wife, and her Instagram recently as well. I think they only got married either the end of last year or the start of this year.
Yeah,
and she's posting loads about Leicester. I follow her on Instagram now. She's posting loads, like it's kind of inbred in their family that Leicester is their team. And she was videoing him because she obviously wanted that moment where he's literally watching the clock tick down on the screen for the QPR Leeds game. And the just pure joy, elation, relief, because he's been through the mill as well this year. You know, as fans, it's been really up and down, but magnify that much more as an owner and an invested fan, basically.
Yeah.
It's brilliant to see. And as we know, and we must remind ourselves, it's so rare to see. You don't see the Glazers posting that. You don't see Bayern posting that, or Real Madrid last night. Like, it's so important. It's massively part of his world and part of his blood, and even more so now since this guy's died.
Yeah.
And what you don't see, Kate, either is okay. Well, he was earlier. Let me tell you.
You said you wouldn't tell.
I know, but it was good fun. What's the guy at Manchester United now? Somebody. He's like the chairman of 25-35% stake. Somebody's got that.
Enos Group owned Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah, Jim Ratcliffe. That's it. Somebody's only got less than 50% stake. He's got a big mouth, and he slaughtered the staff at Carrington. And you think, well, why? Put it right. Do it internally. Don't come
out and say it. Yes,
and say it. I mean, that's not the sort of thing VJ or Top would do. They deal with it themselves and sort it. They just suddenly buy £35 million worth of something that solves us our financial problem. They don't do it publicly, and that's the difference. That's the big difference.
It is, and we've got to say congratulations to Top and his wife. Like you said, they haven't been married long. She's expecting twins. He's obviously better at scoring than Daka is.
He's expecting twins. It's like double Top.
No.
Love it. It's so cute. It's so cute.
God, he's got his hands full.
I'm going to move on, and literally, that's just knocked me out the room. That as well. Good one, Kate.
Twins, I can't imagine having twins. My life. One was bad enough at the time. Oh, Chris, you had twins, didn't you? Yeah. You must have gone out a lot, mate, because I couldn't have dealt with that.
We had 4 under 5 at the time.
Yeah, you must have been out a lot. That's all I can say, because you couldn't have lived with that. I mean, drive you nuts.
Oh, the telly wasn't working a lot. Let me tell you that. But it was a bog off.
Yeah, was it during the power cuts and things like that?
I can't tell you too much information.
We don't want to know that kind of show. That's not fair.
Right, getting back on topic. I should go to you first, Kate, shouldn't I? Then we'll get the sense. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this, and then we'll get you in. There we go.
Rather harsh.
I couldn't see your bold patch. Players out. Look, we knew that a couple of them were going to leave. James Maddison, Harvey Barnes. They didn't ask to leave, Kate, which was the good thing. Nice thing. But Castagna and obviously Hurst, who is also going to be in the Premier League next season. But we did the right thing. I think Dave mentioned it a while ago. We sold early so that Enzo could get, his sort of business done early, if you like.
Yeah, we did. I think all fans were relieved at that, and we couldn't believe how early some of the business had been done, because in previous years, obviously, we had the Adrian Silva incident. We had the transfer window where nothing happened all month in the January before, really, or whenever it was. So it was relief to see some business happen so we could plan for what was going to be a really difficult, unpredictable, and very changed division from when the season before, basically. I couldn't get my words out. And the season before, basically, it's going to be very different setup. So you wanted the manager to give it, to have a whole summer's worth of working with the players that were under his wing, which paid dividends in a way, because you saw Leeds were very turbulent as the season started because the transfer window was still open. And that has ultimately cost them automatic promotion spot, because they think they got 1 point in the first 5 games or something silly like that. It was a terrible start because the transfer window wasn't shut and they had players still in transition and not deciding their future and everything else. They couldn't settle, whereas we seemed to settle early on in the summer and get our heads down and knuckle on.
Yeah, it was a huge clear out when you look at it, really, both with those days that were out of contract and those that we sold. And I haven't put a certain player down on that list because I just think he deserves, for you, Dave, his own moment.
I don't have a problem with that, with Daka, with him. I just think
you do. You can't stand him. you absolutely. You. If you could, you'd use him as a dartboard. You could.
I just think he was a very bad defender. Could have been a good midfielder. A bit like Woot.
To be honest with you, though, he. I don't know if you actually saw the program yet with I did with Rob Tanner, and I said that you suggested that, and apparently he spent a bit of a time, Woot, as a midfielder. But Daniel Amati, all joking aside, and just one more time for you. There you go. I know you like him.
Big Dan.
Well, I wouldn't know, Kate. I'll go with what you're saying. But
I don't know. I think
Dan came out at Preston, actually. That's how much of the repertoire we sang. We sang Daniel.
Yeah. But no, I mean, there was a lot of players left, wasn't there, Dave?
Yeah, but really insignificant ones, to be honest, apart from maybe Maddison, Barnes and Tielemans, because Johnny Evans was injured most of the season. Funnily how he got fit, did he play for Man United?
You would need you to take him on.
You got somebody down there.
Sorry?
You got somebody down there, or what?
Win.
Just checking the filing system.
I mean, Kags didn't get a game, did he? So he wasn't really he was a miss. I'd have played him.
He's fallen from grace now. He's been rejected from Fenerbahce, sent back to Atletico, and I don't think Atletico are going to continue with him. What's going on there?
I don't understand that. There must be something, mustn't there?
Yeah, he was
found
good.
it good. And I thought Mendy was all right.
I love Mendy. I love Mendy.
You can remember that screech of a goal he scored.
Well, yeah, but I think his work rate was good as well.
Yeah, work rate was good. Yeah.
So, yeah. George Hurst, I was a little bit disappointed. What's going on here? Oh, I'm missing something.
I mean, he's got
He's having his wine.
He's got a cock and ball scored on that. Yeah. Alex Smithies left as well. That wasn't the biggest loss in the world, was it?
I felt sorry for him actually, because he was signed as cover, and really he was just training, wasn't he? And at that age, it's soul destroying. I think he'd have probably rather spent a season playing football. Really, who wouldn't? But George Hurst, I was a bit disappointed at. I thought,
But we've always got that third keeper, haven't option, Kate? I mean, didn't I not see Danny Ward walk out? Did he get a medal this season?
He got a medal, apparently. Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
He hasn't spent 1 minute on the pitch.
He's in the squad. He's in the squad.
He paid for it.
I thought you had to have played so many games to.
Same. But then you see that the coaching staff got them. So I wonder if there's like winners' medals and then just club medals. You know what I mean?
Like what you get in primary school.
Yeah, taking part basically.
He's a good taking part. It's not about the winning; it's about the taking
so I don't know
part.
if there's winners' medals for like the squad, because if the training staff get them as well.
Unless I think you might, and I might have this wrong, that you get so many medals, but you can buy extra. if you want more from the team. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah,
the
a lot
squad
of players
get them all, don't they?
The
squad would get them. The squad would get them all. That's the whole
Don't
point of the
usually
squad.
though, 'cause not everybody got.
Well, it never used to.
They didn't get. Not everyone got a Premier League medal that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Ryan Bertrand, Dave. I felt a bit sorry for him. He looked really good when he came on pre-season.
Just going to say that. Yeah, he did.
He got injured, and that was the last we saw of him.
Yeah.
I don't see what they saw of him until he was in a Chelsea box.
Well, yes. Okay, and then so those are the players that went out. Totally, never to see them again.
Nobody's mentioned Perez because he always he used to do a little bit of good stuff, and then
Brad used to mention him a lot, pretty much the same way that you mentioned Marty. He was okay, wasn't he? He was another one of those Brendan bought him and then didn't fit into his style of play for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah. But, who'd you blame for that? The manager or?
Yeah.
He didn't ever play in position, did he?
No. That was his first player, wasn't it? £30 million. We did not even negotiate. No. He had 30 million in his buyout clause, Perez at Newcastle.
That means I'm worth 10 million, at least.
Say that again, sorry.
That means I'm worth 10 million at least. If he's worth
more in Dave's eyes, let's be honest with you. It goes up every time you put those shorts on.
Hey, look, can I just say that Mum and Dad, somebody's mother and dad will be watching.
Somebody's mother and dad.
I'm old enough to be a granddad for crying out loud.
Kate, those are the loans that went out. Nathan Opoku, I don't think we'll ever see him, to be honest with you. I don't think he's setting the world alight over there in Belgium.
He's badly injured, isn't he?
Is he injured? Oh, well.
Crucial or something.
Everson gone out on loan after he just signed a 5-year extension. But then again, that was he was number one under Rodgers, and I think we all expected him to be number one this season. But Samari is the surprise package in there, because I was talking to Rob Tanner, and if you haven't seen the awards show, it is available on LTID TV, and Rob Tanner from The Athletic picked the winners. Both him and myself said we wouldn't mind seeing Samari next season in the squad, and he thinks it might be worth Enzo taking a look at him.
Yeah, I mean, he took some time out in Brendan's era, didn't he, for personal problems? And you do wonder if it was maybe homesick or just some issues with him mentally that hopefully is resolved. And also, you don't know what goes on with the manager. Like, we've seen quite a few players that have been reborn under Enzo, like someone like Ndidi, for example, just looks completely different. Ricardo Pereira looks brilliant. So Enzo seems to be quite good at the man management side of things, and if you've got potential, he will absolutely push you to your limits to make sure you fulfill it. So who knows? Like Samari, I think there is a player in there for sure, but it is about attitude and application as well. So it's whether you can get that sorted if he's got some personal issues or not as well.
What do you think? I mean, Everson I want to talk about with you, Dave. We all thought he was going to be the number one, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't think he's got a chance now. I think we'll sell him on if we can. Which is a shame.
He's been to this year.
He's been everywhere.
I think Everson was at Stoke, wasn't he? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But I don't think he's got a chance of coming back. Really.
No. Would you have Samari back?
No.
No.
He was so disappointing. Not just his playing out of position, maybe, but just his attitude didn't look good. Mind you, that could count for a lot of players. Yeah. But he made too many mistakes. He gave away fouls in difficult areas at the back. Cost us a few free kicks.
I'm not 100% sure what his proper position is, but when you brought him in, Roger
Yeah.
said he wanted to turn him into a box-to-box midfielder, and I'm thinking,
No,
well, why didn't
no.
you buy a box-to-box midfielder then?
Yeah, no, he's not. I think he came in, I thought, as a defending midfielder, but I'm not so sure about that. I think maybe more of an attacking midfielder. He's certainly got the physique and the strength to play in midfield, but defending, he's made some terrible decisions, and it cost us a few times. And that's the only reason. I don't dislike the bloke. I'm just not sure.
He speaks very highly of you.
Yeah,
Kate,
well, he would do, wouldn't he?
True. Kate, I mean, that to me, that kind of sums Rodgers up, is that you buy a player, him, Vestergaard, Samari and Vestergaard, and then you want a different sort of player. Why don't you go and buy that player in the first place?
Yeah, the same with Christensen, really. I don't really know what Christensen's done wrong. And he's kind of was left out on a limb a bit as well, really. But yeah, it's poor spending. It's spending way too much as well. I mean, when you said there, Perez was 30 million quid. 30 million quid. That's a third of our overspending in PSR on Perez. Like, you didn't even give any goals back. What the hell are we doing there? Plus his wages. Yeah, really poor execution. It's not just Brendan. Brendan's not the one with the checkbook, but he got totally found out with Leicester City. Brendan did, I think that was the thing. Found out in good ways, but really found out in what his flaws were as well.
I know he doesn't have the checkbook, but the guy that does have the checkbook will have rules to obey, and he doesn't go out and choose the players. It's Rodgers that will say, well, this is the sort of player I want. Here's a few that I've got in mind, and then they'll go and negotiate. So it is him that asks for it. But when you're just talking quickly there about FFP and PSR, Soyuncu, Tielemans, Evans, Mendy, Perez, 5 players there. God knows, I mean, let's say we've probably paid 50 million in total for them all. I know Bertrand was a freebie, sorry, but and not a penny back. That doesn't help you PSR, does it?
No, I mean, we ended up paying 40 million for Yuri, didn't we? And we elevated his price. His stock was higher for sure when he left us than when we bought him. And to get 0 back out of that is just really poor planning and poor execution on Leicester City's side, really, because that isn't necessarily to do with Brendan. I don't know what was happening with Soyuncu. If you're going to freeze someone out, get rid in that summer before, even get 10 million for him in the summer before. Same with Perez. Like, I felt sorry for Perez because his Newcastle record was really good. But we just didn't play him in the right position. And it said you may as well buy a goalkeeper to play in midfield as to where you used to ask Perez to play. He was so ineffective. And you could see it wasn't at all his position, his natural position. Yeah.
I must admit, when it comes to Tielemans, I do blame him, because he could have very easily signed a contract that was full of clauses the same way that Maguire did. And look, we got 80 million from Maguire because he signed that contract. So I'm sorry, I do put part of our financial woes, because he was our most sellable asset. And he just ran his contract down knowing that we weren't going to get anything for him. And to my mind, yes, he won us the FA Cup, but I do hope he breaks his leg and doesn't play again for the rest of his life, personally, because I think, he'd be one of the reasons that maybe, we're in the trouble that we are. Don't mess about. I just say it as I feel it. Dave, though, we did go out and buy a lot and loan in a lot. I remember being at a barbecue with my brother-in-law, who's a Man United fan, and it flashed up on my phone. So I quickly turned off Pornhub and went onto the football, and it said Leicester have bought Harry Winks and Connor Cody. And I turned to him and said, "Damn, I said, look, I've got to go and do a show. We've just signed Winks and Cody." He goes, "Bugger off, you haven't." I mean, that was unbelievable. And what a bargain price, I think, for both of them.
Yep. And ironic as well, isn't it, with Winks?
Yeah.
Connor Cody, that was a strange one. I thought that was really strange. The fact he did come to us. I don't know how that happened, but it was pretty good work. Although saying that, he's hardly played, so
I think
maybe this time next year.
He got injured in the pre-season against Leven.
Yeah, he's not been injured for 6 months, has he?
No, but then
he's hardly had a game.
Come in, and Vestergaard's so good at what he does for us in this division, in that position. that you can't drop him just because you've got a player there that is, potentially better, because the guy that's doing the job isn't doing anything wrong. Would you agree with that, Kate?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think we got two absolute gems there, really. The money that we paid for them as well, considering some of the money we have shelled out. I mean, Harry was like 10 million quid, wasn't he? And I think Cody was 7 or 8, something like that. Yeah, again, completely left field. And I didn't know what to make of Harry Winks. I had watched him quite a bit in the Premier League, and I was never that enthused. But well, particularly for the first half of the season, he was just a 10 out of 10. I think every single time you spoke to me after matches, who's your man of the match? Harry Winks. Every single time. He was just absolutely incredible and totally the linchpin in the team, which I just didn't see coming at all. I thought Connor looked brilliant pre-season at Northampton when I went, but just a shame for him he's not got more minutes. But hopefully he's done his weight now, and with the Premier League around the corner, he should get some time, I would hope.
He's got that experience again, hasn't he? I mean, it's a bit of a laugh, Dave. I mean, Maddison went to Tottenham to win trophies. Winks came to us to resurrect his career and won one.
I think it's a Tottenham thing. Poor old Harry, he's gone to Germany and still can't win goal. It's quite frightening, isn't it? You'd never want to play for Tottenham, would you? Really?
No.
Life.
You can take Tottenham out. What did they say? You can take the boy out of Tottenham.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The boy.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have a Man United fan that comes on that wanted to buy him. He thought he'd do well anybody would do well at Man United at the moment. Sorry, Mike. I know you're in. But yeah,
that's a terrible situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is really is.
Almost feel sorry for Manson, the goalkeeper. Oh, I don't feel sorry for them. But Madsen Manson, the goalkeeper, like I say, we all thought, Dave, Iverson, he hadn't really done anything wrong. Danny Ward, I still honestly think he was a scapegoat.
He was. He totally was.
Yeah. I don't think Peter Shilton, Gordon Banks, and Peter Bonetti, all three of them in the goal, could have saved much behind that defence at the time. And he was the scapegoat, and he was thrown to the wolves. Not the football team, obviously, the pack animal. And we signed Madsen Manson, thinking like, well, Everson's just signed a 5-year deal, but what a absolute again bargain, and he's going to be one for the future, and I'm sure one will be cashing in a few years' time.
Yeah. Well, we had more goalkeepers and strikers at one stage, didn't we?
Yeah.
Pre-season.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on Danny Ward. I mean, I, like Kate, watched nearly every home game and a few away games. And some of the situations he was put in, I think it was at Liverpool when Woot got 2 own goals. And that was because nobody listened to Danny Ward or wanted to listen to him. I think with Casper going, it's like trying to follow Ferguson at Man United, isn't it? Yeah. So he was on a loser from the start.
Yeah.
He played in League Cup games earlier and saved penalties and played well in those. I don't think he did too much wrong, to be honest. So,
Mavididi, Kate?
Mavididi, did you say? Yeah. Again, someone I'd never come across before, but yeah, what a brilliant signing again for us, really. Really young. We were absolutely desperate for wingers, weren't we? And we seem to have a few options now, which is great. But yeah, I mean, as much as it was great money for Barnes, and it was great money, there was so many weaknesses with Barnes, I felt, and he was a bit of a one-trick pony. Now I feel like Mavididi has more to his game. He may not be quite as good at Barnes cutting inside, but he's got much more strings to his bow. So it was a really good signing. He's really exciting to watch. He's a bit stalky, isn't he, at times? But I think that's his youth, and he just gets frustrated with others. And I know he had a bit of a ding dong with Harry Winks on one of the matches early in the season, where Harry just shouted at him and tore strips off him a bit, really, and he was not happy. He sulked for the rest of the game. But yeah, really exciting to watch. And we were just so relieved to finally get wingers who are actually wingers who can do that job.
Talking of wingers, Dave, and if anybody wants to know a bit of an update on Fataru's position at Leicester, get over and watch the award shows, because Rod Tanner from The Athletic does talk about that situation. But it's, we're not confirmed as a Premier League side yet, but what a fine. That was like, I think it's up there with the Mahrez discovery there, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. And he's had a better first season than Riyadh did as well. So that's a bonus. I think if you remember, Riyadh's first season was dreadful. All he did was fall over. And I thought, oh my God, what have we done here? But, obviously it worked out all right. But yeah. Excellent stuff. Brilliant.
I've got to ask you both. I'll stick with you first, Dave. Yunus Akgun. He was a loan. Now, there isn't an option to buy him, according to Rob Tanner, or not one that he knows of, and I think he would know. Would you buy him? Is he a player that you think we could use in the Premier League?
I don't think so. But then, I've been wrong lots of times before.
True.
Yeah. So the short answer is I don't think so.
No. Kate? I know you're giving shock that Dave gave a short answer then. Kate?
I just don't know. We haven't seen enough of him. I think this might be one where Enzo has to call it, because we could potentially get him for cheap. I think every time I've seen him, he is the most skillful player that we've got. For sure, the most skillful player that we've got. And I just don't think he's been given a run of games. He came on, I can't remember where it was. It was an away fixture, and he literally came on for 10 minutes after an injury and got injured after being subbed for 10 minutes. So he got subbed off. And since that moment, I think that was his groin or his abdomen or something. He didn't really get a run of games after that, which is a real shame, because it's one that you would have really liked to have seen before you buy him. So
we got him, I think, as a winger, didn't we? But before we got Fatawu.
Yeah, he plays for Turkey on the wing, which isn't a bad thing at all.
I love him in the middle. I mean, don't laugh at me here, Dave, but he reminds me a little bit of Messi, in as much as he's small, but he's got that kind of, artistry about him. As I say, the way that he terrorized the Bournemouth defence, if he'd had his shooting boots on that game, he would have taken 3 match balls home. He could have hit Bondor with a banjo, but my God, he was running at that defence. He was getting in the box. They didn't take him down because it would have been a penalty. I would love to see him in the Premier League.
But that's the big thing, isn't it? If he'd have hit the targets.
Yes.
I mean, what was he? Early 20s, 23, something like that, 22, 23. You think he might have shown a little bit more by now. He'd been on loan a lot of times, I think, in the past. So he's never really settled anywhere, I don't think. I don't know. I really don't know, Chris. But if you ask me yes or no, I'd say probably no.
Right. Well, let's get into the games then. Pre-season, nothing there to really set the world alight. Kate lost the first game to Peterborough. We thought, here we go. Struggled to beat Northampton. It wasn't a bad game. We don't know how they performed against OH Leuven because it was behind closed doors. Tottenham got cancelled. We beat some team called Port. I think the idea was that the next week we'd play Ugal, so that we played the whole country. Portugal. Oh, never mind. Why do I bother? Honestly.
I don't know. I really don't know.
No, I don't. And then obviously we lost to Liverpool in the Singapore Invitational Cup or whatever it was. Although having said that, I thought we played well against Liverpool.
Yeah, we did. I enjoyed that pre-season. I thought the Northampton game was a real battle, and we got to see some of the loanees and new purchases as well, which was really good. Would like to see some sort of more, along with our peers, competition this year's pre-season. We normally get someone like Fiorentina or something, don't we, or Atalanta or whoever. So it'd be good to see that kind of level of European competition maybe this pre-season. I'm not sure what we've got on. this season already. But yeah, it was decent. And the 4-0 was a bit of a drubbing and maybe a bit of a calling sign that we weren't quite suited to the Premier League yet, and we needed this season.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big swig, Dave. I've got to say, it wasn't just a little sip of wine, was it?
It was a sip.
That was not a sip.
A swig. It was a mixture between a sip and a swig.
Yes.
It's like my mother.
I just want you to last till the end of the show. It's going to be a long one. I'm not sure.
I promise you, I'll be fine. I promise you, I'll be fine.
Over. I remember when he was drunk, when he'd been up with his neighbour. Look at Kate drinking water.
That's not water. That's vodka. Yeah, got a lemon in it, isn't it? Or is it a wasp?
I was trying to be polite. The parents are watching. I don't want them to think she's an alcoholic.
My mum will have a glass of wine for sure. She'll have it on the go right now.
Oh, will she? Oh, hello.
Cheers, Mother. Yeah, cheers, Mum.
I actually got
we oldies have a bit of sense.
I actually got invited on to Talk TV, and the guy that did the show, the Sunday night show, and Mark Swaggers, he said, Saggers, sorry, he said, I'm thinking of you when you're walking up the wine. Swaggers. That's it. He said, what a stupid time to go and play football in the middle of the monsoon. And I kind of said, I got that, but I said this was his home, the owner's home country. We couldn't go any other time because we were playing bloody football. So we had to go. It just, I think, took them so long to sort it out on that Tottenham game. But again, I don't know if you saw the Liverpool game. I thought we did okay until we went one behind. Then we did kind of crumble.
Well, it's a new team, new era. What do you expect? Playing against a pretty settled side, I think, in Liverpool. So, yeah, I mean, I don't put too much on pre-season friendlies. It's great to see, like Kate says, see some of the players, see some of maybe the academy players with a bit of luck, or the new loanees, see how they're fitting in. Unfortunately, I think Cody got injured over in Belgium, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was a big problem, and that's always the worry. We've had a few injuries over seasons in pre-season friendlies, so that's life. Well, that's football, isn't it? I mean, that's the way it happens. But you do wonder.
You forget it's a sport still.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be, should it? But apparently. So, yeah, I mean, I don't put too much on it. And I think it was a nice way of everybody getting to know each other.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it before.
About.
You win all your pre-season games and you have a really bad season, and you lose all your pre-season games and have a fantastic season. We went into August, and it was the start of our first season in the Championship in 10 seasons, and 9 or 10, one of them. And
really?
I actually called it, Kate. I said, I want Coventry City at home for the first game. I can't believe I actually got something right. And we got Coventry City at home in the first game. And my God, August, Enzo, manager of the month. I mean, we just pulled it. 2-1 Coventry, 1-0 Huddersfield, 2-1 Cardiff, and 1-2 away at Rotherham. I can just say the numbers in the brackets, by the way, are where we were in the table at the end of that, after that game, or at the end of that week, that round of games on that. It wasn't a bad August, was it?
No, it wasn't. And the first game with Leicester was always really stressful. So the season before, we were 2-0 up against Brentford at home, and they pulled it back to draw, which was so disappointing.
It was too hot, though. It was too hot for the players.
It was too hot. They needed a drink and they were tired. But that game was actually then set the tone for the rest of the season, and actually picked up from where we left off the season before in terms of the league. Like, it was really disappointing. We let things slide. We were sloppy, and you don't give away a 2-0 lead at home. Whereas this one, going 1-0 down, you're like, oh my God, because we had no idea what was to come. You don't know if you're going to finish mid-table. Teams have done the double drop. We've been in League One before. You don't know what to expect. So to come from behind and win that was just awesome, especially against Coventry. And yeah, we didn't look back.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, I was. I thought you were carrying on. Then you shocked me.
No, sorry. Yeah, we didn't look back.
No.
The great Enzo didn't find it too hot, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Dave, I mean, you remember that Brentford game? 2 substitutions, but out of 5, but it was still too much for the players. But look, August
Why?
there. I mean, what a fantastic!
Why?
We couldn't ask for a better start, could we?
Yeah, no, let's forget the season before because I take 2 hours up with it. Coventry were slightly lucky, I thought. We pushed our luck. In fact, we pushed our luck through a few of the games, didn't we, early on? But again, everyone was getting to know each other, and we got results. And everybody tells me it's a results business, and we got 4 of them.
So that's what they do at the start of the game, is it? They go up and say, "Hello, I'm Harry Winks." "Oh, hello, I'm Eunice Acton.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you."
Well, why do they all cuddle each other up? They've been in the changing room for about an hour beforehand. What is wrong with all that?
I love that one of the coaches, when they walked in after I can't remember which game it was. It's when we sealed promotion rather than winning the league. It must have been the West Brom game. And Harry Winks walked in, and you can hear the coach in the background going, "Yes, Winkle." And I can't stop thinking that it's called Winkle now. I think they obviously
love that, won't As a footballer, that's not a nickname you want, is it? But, no. Look, but like you said, a good point there. Surprisingly, Dave, but it was a good point.
Sorry about that.
We never. It's not like you. That's what shocked me. We never won anything convincingly. 2-1, 1-0, 2-1, 2-1. It was all tight games, wasn't it?
I think it's the style that we were playing because it was so unique. And now it's become normal, hasn't it? Playing out from the back and doing all that. But then it was so unusual. Mistakes were made. And therefore, we gave goals away when we shouldn't have done. We, to just win 2-1 at Rotherham at the time seemed great. But when you look now over the season, it was terrible. It should have been 6. But 3 points. What more do you want? Right.
Yeah.
3 points, top of the league. And we didn't lose that position.
I know top of the league, although we hadn't gone top of the league, I don't think at that point. Oh, yes, we had. Sorry, you're quite right. It says it there, Rotherham. Gone top of the league. People, Kate, were saying, we're going to go unbeaten all season, aren't we? And along came Hull. Now, I remember watching a Hull channel after that, and they were celebrating like they had won the league after 5 games. I was glad in a way because it brought us down to earth a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a huge reality check. Hull, we were expected to be. It's a defeat at home. It was one of those things, like you say, I think it was. I don't think we were going to go the season unbeaten. I mean, to do that in the Championship would just be almost more difficult than the Premier League, I think. But yeah, we needed it. It was a reality check. We had got away with some of those results in August. We had sort of won things when the tide was against us, so to speak, against the run of play sometimes. So these things are going to come and bite you on the backside at some point. And it did. And it just gave us that reality check and that grounding that I think some of the team needed.
I think I predicted 0-1, not on the prediction league, but because I think I'd been on with you either the night before or whatever, and somebody that was on with us said, fancies Leicester 4-5-0. And I thought, this is where it always goes wrong. The fans get overconfident, the players might, and we get our comeuppance. And that's what Leicester do. Yeah. And I was not surprised at all.
I obviously, the next game, Southampton, I went to, and I was really judging how we were at this one because this was a team that came down with us. This was a team that was, one of the top 3 to go up with Leeds and ourselves. This was a team that had beaten us twice the season before. And we absolutely, I know they got a goal, but we absolutely demolished them. I think if we'd still been playing now from last September, I don't think Southampton would have beaten us. And, we scored after a minute. And to me, I suddenly, at that game, and I suddenly thought, actually, this might not go too bad this season, Dave.
Well, it's interesting because, again, we've said on many occasions that if we don't score early on, we're going to struggle. I think we said that before the Millwall game. and that happened. Leicester need to score early to actually start the confidence going. Southampton, I did not see coming at all. Really didn't, because they're a decent side. They went on a pretty good run as well, didn't they?
They did. They did.
So
yeah.
I just think the more impressive result was Norwich.
Yeah, well, talk about Norwich. I mean, again, they were one of the favourites to go up outside of the 3 relegated sides. Okay, and 2-0. I'm just going to go backstage with the Southampton game. It's the only time I've ever overruled Alan for the man of the match. He probably, I can't remember who he went for. I think he probably went for Winks because he usually did, bless him. But like you said, at that time, he was playing great. I actually overruled him and went for Vestergaard because I think, away, he was taking some stick in that game. And he had a really, really good game. He really shut the crowd up. But anyway, going on to Norwich, 2-0. We did the double over Norwich, and then Bristol ended the season in second. Ended the month in second, but it was a good month.
Yeah, it was a really good month. Norwich is always difficult because I think I went the year before when we lost, and the thing with Norwich is they're so experienced in the Championship, so experienced and much more recent experience than us, and they're playoff kings as well. So they can really bring their A game, and if they do, particularly at home, it can be a really tough battle. So that result, I think from memory, it was actually quite convincing as well, our win. 2-0 was kind of kind. It was a great result from what I would definitely class as that one of our main competitors in the league, for sure, at that point.
I mean, where do they play Norwich City? Oh, yeah, it's Let's Be Having You.
Let's Be Having You. Cara Rudd.
October, Dave. Moving on. What a month. I mean, 6 games, 6 unbeaten. I think he may well have won the manager of the season again, manager of the month again. I can't speak tonight.
Definitely not contender for manager of the season, though, was he? I mean, you win 4 managers. Nah.
And one of them was sacked not so long after. No, Dave, come back on track. 6 games there, Dave. 6 wins. At the end of each one, top of the table. What a month October was.
Blackburn we should have lost. I think Blackburn was superb.
Started so well.
Yeah. Preston, yeah. I mean, that was billed as almost a title hope, wasn't it? Leicester Preston were second or third?
Third at
not
the
far
time.
behind.
They had been top, yeah.
Yeah. And we did much. Well, I can't remember them really having any of the game. It was almost as bad as a 3-0 at their place. Stoke, well, they had the reserves out, apparently, according to our friend who came on the show before the game. Swansea, that's the one that I thought was good, because Swansea is not an easy place to go to. Being so early in the season, you didn't know what sort of season they'd have. So I'm very impressed with that. Sunderland, disappointing. QPR, brilliant. Because again, Rangers is a hard place to go. It's a hard place to go as a spectator, let alone a player. So, yeah, I think they're the ones that stood out. Swansea away and QPR away, and Preston at home. The others, well, we did well, but we were a bit lucky.
After a fantastic month, Kate, it all came crashing down in November. We lost to Leeds. I thought, all right, it's a blip. We'll see how we react to that. Look at that. That isn't a sip. That was not a sip. Yeah, exactly.
You can't just sip a Cabernet Sauvignon.
What are you indicating there, Kate? I don't know.
Dave, getting every last drop out.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Certainly will. Stop it. Behave.
He's such a one, isn't he, Dave? He's such
well, I know. He doesn't understand that, English language does that. It makes you do innuendos. It does a Freddie Mercury on you. Innuendos.
Anyway.
Kate.
Sorry, November.
November. We 3rd of November played Leeds away. Daka should have got a second. Who would have probably won that, and the season might have been different. Was ruled out for offside, which it obviously wasn't afterwards. But we don't have VAR. We said, how will we cope with that? And we went on and lost at home to Middlesbrough.
No, that was the 3rd of November was at home. The Leeds game at home. That was your
game. Was it the other game? Was it where it was ruled out?
Right. That was 3-1, wasn't it?
Yeah. Then we lost to Middlesbrough. Managed to get a win against Watford, and then struggled against what was then second from bottom Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, that Middlesbrough game, I watched it. I didn't go. It was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. That was kind of the beginning of thinking we need a plan B here. Leicester Leeds, I mean, you win them, you lose them. As we saw at Ellen Road, they were always going to be tough games, the Leeds fixtures. And yeah, the Sheffield Wednesday game, I think we missed a sitter, and I think they could have taken the lead as well. And that was a real dire game. That was like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, I think. I went to Hillsborough. And it was just a shocker again. And you're thinking we can't seem to pull ourselves out of these games where teams just sit back against us. That kind of thread started to come. But what was more frustrating then for me as well is that you've gone on this amazing run and everybody's saying, wow, this league's really hard to get out of. And then when the league proves it right, that it is hard to get out of, everybody flipping moans. Well, you've just been saying that it's hard to get out of, but you're only comfortable saying that when you're winning. And when the league turns and bites you on the arse, everybody's like, well, why are we losing? It's not acceptable. We need a plan B. Well, because this league is really hard. You don't know who you're going to get. Team on team, you don't know who you're going to get.
Despite that, Dave, we still finished the month in first.
Yeah, that's quite surprising, isn't it? I thought Leeds were pretty good at our place. I thought they played really well.
I think Kate said earlier, and I would agree, Dave, is that had Leeds had a better start, they would have been in that top two. Yeah,
no doubt. But then if we hadn't have had our bad run, who'd have thought we'd lose at Millwall, Plymouth for crying out loud, and that sort of thing, and Middlesbrough twice. So it's all what if, isn't it? And that's the beauty of the game.
But Dave, we came back from that awful month.
Sorry.
Yeah, it came back from that awful month, and apart from, unbeaten again and top throughout the month again. Ipswich did what Ipswich had been doing all season, and fair play to them, and they got promoted, and they deserve it. They remind me, Ipswich this season remind me of Leicester City under Martin O'Neill. If it's a 94 minutes game, Martin O'Neill would expect you to play for 97 and not give up. But look at that. Win after win after win. Ipswich, you could argue we should have won. But Birmingham and Millwall, though, I think we're possibly a little bit lucky. We're holding on with both of those.
Well, we was at the time we were giving late goals away all the time, apart from West Brom, which was
we did against Millwall, we did against Birmingham, we did against Ipswich.
Yeah. So that was a slight worry that was sneaking in, and it was. I think I remember saying at the time to you it was too casual. We were too casual at the back. We weren't tight. And that's why I wanted Cody to play. Because he would have given them the Jerry Taggart or the Steve Walsh, and we had nobody doing that. Winks did it a lot from midfield, but you need somebody doing that at the back, and we didn't have it, and hence we gave late goals away.
Definitely, yeah. But we finished Christmas and New Year on top, Kate, and then we went into January, which was, let's just say, a mixed month, shall we? Started it off by beating Huddersfield 4-1. Coventry won the league in January. I don't know if you realise this because they were celebrating that much.
They just forgot to bring the trophy, though, I think.
I think so. I think they'd got the bus on order. Although, in fairness to Coventry, they did have a brilliant run in the FA Cup and were robbed.
That was a shame for Coventry, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. Ipswich managed to get a draw with us again. And I think we only got 4 draws all season, and 2 of those were against Ipswich. And then we beat what the Swansea guy admitted at the time when I interviewed him was a very poor Swansea side.
Yeah, January it felt a little bit stop-start, didn't it? Because Boxing Day drawing at Ipswich was a real kick in the teeth, I think, because it was a complete competitor, and we were robbed, really. That left a bit of a sour taste in everybody's mouth, because that penalty for KDH was just as obvious as you will get, really. So it was disappointing, because I think the points gap was down to 4 at that point. I know that sounds really spoilt, but it was down to 4 points at that point. So with Leeds still back in 4th, I think there would have been at the time, Southampton still on their great run, you know, all eyes were on us, and can we maintain it, and are we going to fall over? So this was where things started to stutter. This was probably one of the best months of 2024 that you're going to be showing us. But yeah, we could all feel it coming, couldn't we? We said on numerous shows, when's the blip? Yeah, we've lost against Coventry, but you could argue that we bounced back with a draw and a win. Like, when's the blip coming? Because I can feel it. And I think
I take a lot of blame for that, because I did say that an awful lot. I felt that one was coming. It had to, you know, and losing 2 games isn't a blip. You know, losing that lead to Middlesbrough one the first time round wasn't a blip.
And if you think, Chris, we beat Swansea again, which, you know, they're not an easy side to beat. But then I think first game in January, or pretty close, did we do 5 at Stoke or something like that? We obliterated Stoke. Yeah, so, you know, Coventry, I could understand they were buzzing like crazy, weren't they? Ipswich, another stupid 2 points drop, but, you know, we came back from that pretty well. We always came back.
We did at this point. Dave, if I ask you what did Barbara Dixon sing, what would you say?
I'll shut up.
No, that wasn't one that she sang. I don't remember her singing.
What did she sing?
She sang January, February, and that takes us nicely into February. You know, I thought it
was Answer Me. I like that one. Answer me, oh my love. I'm not going to sing.
Then we had that game that you just mentioned, Stoke 0, Leicester 5.
That was the rainiest, horriblest day ever, by the way.
Well, it always is in Stoke.
Right on the end of the stand, open stand. It was horizontal rain for 90 minutes.
I wish you'd stop doing that.
Glug, glug.
It's a sit.
It's a switch.
Small glass.
Bloody big glass. But look,
we did play well, though, didn't we? We did play well at Stoke.
We started off Stoke. Watford we beat. We managed to beat Sheffield Wednesday this time, still top. And then we got return games against Middlesbrough and Leeds, Dave. And here we go. We lost to them before. We couldn't lose to them again, could we? Oh, yes,
ironic.
We could.
Ironic, wasn't it? Middlesbrough, I think they played well, Kate, didn't they? If I remember.
Yeah, they did.
Leeds, 80 minutes we destroyed Leeds. How the hell? Well, we should have been 2 up. We should have been more. I think, was it Daka missed one and somebody else missed one?
No.
We had Daka had a goal disallowed.
Don't try and convince me that Daka missed an effort. I'm not having
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I think that's what happened. And then, of course, Daka was offside when he was ruled offside. He wasn't. Yeah. So, you know, we could have been 2 or 3, 4 up maybe. And then we just capitulated. And I don't understand why, because it was just bizarre, wasn't it? And that's again, that goes back to, but that goes back to the Cody thing, doesn't it? I mean, somebody at the back saying, "Come on, lads, you know, if you don't pull yourself together, I'm going to deck you."
Yeah, I also think in that Leeds game, aside from the offside call being wrong and Daka's efforts, the subs were really poor. He took Mabadidi off, and Mabadidi was absolutely roasting the right back. So Mabadidi and the right back played a key part in 2 of their goals, because he was then free. He was then free.
What's Kelly?
You may as well.
Was it Kelly?
Yeah,
Eddie Gray's nephew or something. Wasn't it?
Like, he didn't have to no longer watch out for Mabadidi because he was long gone. I can't remember who came on for him, but it was no one really in that particular position. And the guy had freedom for the last 10 minutes, and that's exactly what they needed to open that side of the pitch up.
But do you think?
You know what I thought at the time? Sorry, Chris. What I thought at the time, it was you're too young, both of you, maybe to remember. But it was a 1970s World Cup Bobby Charlton moment when they took Charlton off, who was marking Beckenbauer, to save him for the next for the semi-finals, and then Beckenbauer ran riot, and we got beat. And that's what it was like.
I do remember that. What was England's World Cup song that year?
1970. Back Home.
It was Back Home.
Good knowledge, Dave. Good knowledge.
Yeah, and in 1966, it was Lonnie Donegan's World Cup Willie, which apparently you can get cream for now. But but you don't think, Kate, that Leeds game, really, and I don't mean this nastily, I mean this in a nice way, it actually showed the frailties of Enzo, remembering that this was his first run. I know he'd been a manager at Parma, but it was 13 games. Just caretakers that have had longer times, in charge of a team than that. He was going. It wasn't like Brendan when he made some stupid substitutions, because he should have been this great coach. But Enzo, he was still kind of learning on the job, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he'll probably learn a bit, because I, on the whole, really like and respect Enzo's way of interviewing. I feel like a lot of the time he tells little white lies to shut the interviewer down. Like he'll say Vardy's injured or out for a couple of weeks, and then he miraculously starts the next game. He always keeps his cards very close to his chest. And I think with this interview, if you remember, he said before it was just another game. It wasn't a big deal. Now, as much as a lot of Leicester fans were perhaps thinking, well, it is a big deal, but maybe he's just playing it off. I feel like he perhaps wouldn't do that if he had his time again. Like, it was a really big game, because Ellen Road's been a fortress, hasn't it? They've lost once all year at Ellen Road. And it was a massive game because they were our direct competitors, who I expected to be in second place, to be honest. And it just, I think it just showed a slight bit of naivety on Enzo's part, which you've got to go through as a manager to learn your ropes. And yeah, it just unfortunately all fell apart in those last 10 minutes or so, which was catastrophic, really, to confidence.
Just check. I happen to have the tables up here, and actually Leeds lost twice at home. Ipswich only lost once. Yeah, Ipswich only lost once at home, and that's probably why they were both up there challenging. Dave, after the Leeds game, the assistant manager for Leicester, Caballero, is it? If I probably not pronounced that right, walked into the dressing room and said to the team that we'll finish above them this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was Enzo said that, but yeah, I know somebody did.
Enzo, then I stand corrected.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. That's what I'd heard, but I don't know for a fact. But yeah, they did. And, I get what Kate's saying about the Leeds game. It's just another game. It's just another 3 points. And it's not to Leicester fans at the time. It wasn't, because we were all so gutted. We thought we were kind of going to crush Leeds. And we did for 80 minutes.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And then it all went wrong. And that was the worry, that so many times towards the end of the game, we'd lost goals. And every time they had a corner or they had an attack in the last 5-10 minutes, we thought it's going to be a goal, and that was the worrying part. But I think Enzo he said when we were on that massive run, he said, look, we're going to lose points. We are going to lose points. And he said it as it is. And I think he's a pretty straight guy.
Yeah, I do as well. Interestingly as well, we were saying before Christmas, in that period before Christmas, like autumn time, I kept hearing commentators say as well on the matches that there was a certain amount of minutes or games that Leicester had gone where they hadn't conceded after the 60-minute mark.
Yes, yeah.
Which was a massive part of our amazing start.
We were the team at the start of the season that used to score late goals.
Yeah, we were that team, and I don't think we conceded after the hour mark for months. And then all of a sudden, that completely got reversed. But yeah, I mean, Enzo is a straight talking guy, and I'm just sort of saying little nuances here that I think he could perhaps think about next season. But overall, with the Leeds match, if we'd have took those golden chances, the Daka one and Mavadidi one, that we wouldn't have lost that game. And it started to become a repetitive thing where we couldn't help but miss golden chances. And that's not just Daka, that was Vardy, that was other people on the pitch that were missing really hard fought, well worked, goal scoring opportunities. 9 out of 10 people would score it and we kept missing them.
Yeah.
And do you think after that we stopped making those chances because we didn't seem to be playing the same way? You know, with a quick
created left, but I still think we had chances every game.
Oh,
we had chances all game.
Just we did.
Like Chris said, the roles were reversed. We were then conceding late rather than scoring late, and just not converting the chances that were coming our way.
True. Okay, after we've lost to Middlesbrough and lost to Leeds, what's the best thing we could have done?
I don't know.
Well, it would be win again, wouldn't it? And we went and lost at QPR, who at that point were probably just on the turn. I think they sacked the manager by then, and they'd got a new manager in. And as we know, they did end the season very, very well. We'd never lost 3 games on the trot all season. Yeah. What was, I mean, we were sort of going into uncharted territory here. And that Sunderland game wasn't particularly fantastic, but my God, did we need that win.
Yeah, that was very...
That was lucky.
That was lucky, that Sunderland game. Yeah, the 3 losses on the bounce. The problem is, in today's game, is that not only do you as a player have to cope with losing 3 games on the bounce, because everybody's played their part in that, you then have to deal with the quite public, unavoidable fan meltdown that happens. And there was quite toxic fan meltdown around this point. The gap was closing, and I feel like the gap should have closed because we weren't 17 points better than Leeds this season. We weren't, so that wasn't going to stay 17-point gap. It just wasn't.
No.
So I just felt like it's never helpful either when fans panic and call for heads and everything else. And we.
Why do you think they do that? Why do you think? Because this has happened over. I mean, what am I saying? Happened over 60 years. Yeah, or maybe say
the social media platform and how readily news is available, and you can comment publicly for all to see now. It's just one of those instant platforms.
We probably used to do it down the pub, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly that.
Nobody saw it down the pub. You know?
Well, I remember
because you were at the pub, you only knew Dave and Chris. You didn't know Dave and Chris and 50 other thousand Leicester followers that are all saying the same on one long forum that's on your phone in the palm of your hand 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's very toxic and it becomes very inescapable. And that probably happens as a player because they'll see it on their social media as much as they perhaps are told not to look. Of course, you're going to look. But the Sunderland game was lucky. It was an ugly match. March was pretty shit for us, to be fair.
We got away with the penalty, didn't we? It should have been 1-1, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, we did, talking of 1-1, Dave, we did get 1-1 against Hull.
We did. That was a result. I thought that was a brilliant result, actually, because Hull were doing well at the time, if I remember. And I thought, considering we'd had such a crap time, we did well to get a point there.
Didn't last, though, did it? We went
didn't last, did
it? Lost to Bristol.
Let's not talk about that.
I know. Let's move on and talk better things. Let's talk April and May when we lost to Millwall and Plymouth.
Yeah, that was a bad knock.
Hang on a second. Cassie sat next to you, topping your glass up every time it empties. Do you have a little bell, a little buzzer that lights in the kitchen?
She's at church. She's at church having her own red wine, mate. It's Ascension, isn't it? Ascension Day.
Oh, is it? Oh, I have no idea.
The only way is up.
Talking about that, a certain person from another channel was on a Leeds fan channel after the Plymouth game. And if anybody goes onto my Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, you'll see there's a clip calling for Enzo to be sacked after the Plymouth game. Talking of overreacting.
I don't get it. I as I say, I mean, I remember sitting in the old double-decker stand when I used to go with my mother, and 2 or 4 people behind me, 2 old couples, as they were in those days, they were old, moaning all through the bloody game. oh, well, as this is that, Worthington don't do. I think, what are you doing here? Why bother? You know, we come here because we love the club, we love the team, we love the players. We don't come here to moan for 90 minutes, which is all it was in those days, and then go home thinking, what the hell have I wasted my money on? And the same thing happened. I mean, we have a moan here because, you know, that's what we do, but we don't. It's not personal. You know, we love the club so much that well, against you, when I moan about you, it's personal. But,
hang on, Dave. You say it's not personal.
No. Oh, come on. I love him. Okay.
Yeah. He's a fucking centre back. Daniela Mate.
Actually, she's got a chorister voice. Voice of an angel.
I should be singing that at church.
Your parents must be proud of you. No, but you put some clips together about Martin giving the ball away to an attacker.
And Martin's colourblind with the colour blue, basically. That's all we need to know.
Did I tell you, last season I saw somebody with his name on the back of their shirt. I couldn't believe it.
Did as well.
The West Ham game, we were driving through to Park. He's got a Marty on his back. God, I think he was Ghanaian.
You shouldn't joke about the shirts, because I actually owned a Leeds shirt.
No, I'm joking.
Well, you've got to have something in case you run out of toilet paper, don't you? But you know what? I washed it. And I hung it on the lane. And do you know what some bastard did? They stole the pegs.
I warned you this morning. You know, are we giving it too much?
No, and you said you agreed we weren't. I wasn't. I said that joke at the end of I did Dog Sport last week, and I did that joke at the end, and I don't know whether they left it in or they cut it out or not because it was pre-recorded. Look, that was a good win to start the month off, Kate, with Norwich.
Yeah, good month. Again, an amazing scoreline, really. I think Norwich has started to dip by this point. And I did love the Birmingham games. We played them 3 times this year, didn't we, Birmingham?
Yeah.
And so successful in all. I think that Birmingham away day was one of my favourites. One of the most bizarre turn of events for our first goal you'll ever see.
Oh, hello. The
Lecky's run out because he spent it on wine.
I haven't got any lights on, actually. I've just got the 2 screens here that are lighting me up. But
that was a Bee Gees moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't like it all went out in Massachusetts.
So in Bognor Regis.
Massachusetts.
Actually, Bognor Regis rhymes, doesn't it? Kind of. I thought Norwich was a tough game, wasn't it? If I remember right. What? Lights all go down in Bognor Regis.
What does it rhyme with?
Bognor Regis, apparently, Massachusetts. Meant for someone else, but not for me.
Give me resignation.
But yeah, a good start.
Kate, Norwich was tough one, wasn't it? If I remember. Wasn't that easy? Was it? Wasn't the 3-1, was it? From what I remember, the game?
No, I don't think so. I think most of these scorelines, as with always with Leicester, do not depict the run of the game.
What are you laughing at?
Just
third at the end of that one, Dave, we sat in third place, did the triple over Birmingham, as we just said. Look, we've got to talk about Millwall and Plymouth.
We got out of jail. We got out of jail on those, didn't we, with the other results?
Yes. I mean, you know, that when you have your dip, and before that and this was the dip that we had, basically from the end of February. But the other teams weren't taking advantage, were they? You know, Ipswich we'd lose, Ipswich would draw, we'd lose, Leeds would lose. And you're thinking, like, somebody actually said, I think it was on one of the BBC pages, said, does anybody want to win this league?
Yeah, you're right. And I think we forget. We criticise our own team about that. We forget other clubs go through it as well.
Yes.
And I you know, we have to remember that. And look at, I mean, it was all going tits up everywhere, wasn't it? Liverpool were losing, Arsenal were losing, all the top clubs were losing, we were losing, Leeds, Ipswich. I mean, staggering, really. Absolutely, they must be kicking themselves that they're not promoted.
At the end of that Plymouth game,
love it.
At the end of that Plymouth game, like I say, this guy was on the Leeds channel saying Enzo should be sacked. I mean, that was stupid, wasn't it?
Right, that's the mentality of the guy. He's a loony.
Yeah, I guess so. But then look, West Bromwich Albion, Kate, came along.
Oh my God.
And
I got like.
God, were we lucky? Talking about luck, we did to West Bromwich Albion what Millwall and Plymouth had done for us. In both those two games we lost, we were on top, and we should have won. West Bromwich Albion should have won that game. I was scared about that game. And then, talking about going to church, the Lord Almighty, Hamza Chowdhury came to deliver us from evil with the perfect goal line clearance. Left foot, right foot, and header. Yes, the Holy Grail.
What's it like being there, Kate? What was it like being there live? Because it was terrible watching it on the telly.
It was so tense, but because it was so tense, the last half an hour or so, especially when Hamza cleared it the first time, it woke the crowd. Well, not woke the crowd up, but burst the crowd into voice because everyone was so quiet because it was so tense. You were I put my hood up at one point and was just literally watching like that because it was so painful to watch. You just like, if we lose this could all go wrong. The season could completely unravel.
Yeah.
It really felt on a knife edge. And West Brom were decent. And yeah, their fans reminded me of us when we were walking back after Plymouth and Millwall. Like they were absolutely gutted. And yeah, I think that was the point where whatever chats were had from Jamie Vardy or whatever, we dug in. And for the first time that season, I feel like it was the first time we really had to fight everything, throw the kitchen sink at it, and we came out on top. And it was such an important game, unbelievably important.
And that's why Vardy should have a new contract. Just for that.
You've gone very muffled, Dave.
Oh, have I? Okay.
Oh, no, hang on. That's it.
Sorry, I was...
Yeah, I don't know. You didn't go very muffled then. But then...
The wife says I'm mutter. Sorry.
Then came Southampton, who... Obviously, that was the game in hand. We couldn't lose the game in hand because that would have just thrown any advantage we had away. One of the bookies said the reason that Leicester are still favourites to go up is because they've got a game in hand, and that should give them the advantage. My God, did we take advantage of it? 5 minutes. I never saw that coming, Dave.
I was on the train coming back from. No,
you buckled again.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. I've got earpods, you see, and I think you can press them and change things, but I do that to push them in, and it turns the sound off. Anyway, I was on the train.
You know what's going on inside your brain.
Oh my God!
Quiet. That's why it's quiet.
It's just going glug 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 glug. Give me wine. Give me wine.
I trod on a grape once, It didn't say anything, just let out a little wine.
Anyway, Southampton, belter.
Yeah. So I was coming down back on the train, and I was trying to get on to your thing, Chris, the Play It Live or whatever it was. You know what I mean. And the signal kept going because the people and Southern Rail's Wi-Fi thing is rubbish. And it keeps blocking out. So I'd spent first hour getting to Horsham, or the second hour, I can't remember, trying to get on to listen because I couldn't get any signal. It was 0-0 for about an hour and a half, as far as I knew, which I thought, Christ, this ain't going to be any good. And then suddenly 2-0, and suddenly 3. And by the time I got to Kathy's orchestra rehearsal for her to take me home, it was 5. And I'm standing there at the door where she's playing clarinet or whatever. I'm going, and she's thinking I mean 5 minutes. I went like that. No, it's going to be 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 5. I was like a demented lunatic at the door.
What do you mean, were?
I never asked you. Is Kathy a Leicester fan? Is she into football?
Well, she's from Hinckley, isn't she? So yeah, she never really that much into it till she met me, and then there was no option, to be fair.
Just funnily enough, when she wasn't thinking about the Southampton game, she was playing the clarinet.
Well, she goes out when we've got a game on telly because here she's back. Say hello to Kate.
Hi.
Kathy, can she hear me?
No, she can't, fortunately.
Just tell her
talk to you.
That he's glad you're back. He's glad you're back because his wine glass is empty.
I'm glad you're back because my wine glass is empty. And were you a Leicester fan before you met me?
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
I went to the Leatherhead Leicester game before I met you.
Oh, did you? She went to the Leatherhead Leicester game before she met me.
Welcome to Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, I love that.
Is my dinner ready yet? She didn't hear that, fortunately.
I love a bit of Kathy, haven't you? I was still concerned you were doing a Dexter on her when you had all your housework.
That was weird, wasn't it? No, so that was amazing.
Then we played Preston, and
you know what? I'd have loved to have been there. I would have travelled to get to that, but just no chance of tickets.
And fair play to Preston. They were playing Leicester tunes. They were, letting us all stay in. I mean, Kathy didn't, Kathy got me. Kathy. Kate didn't leave the ground till midnight. And she'd got, they were being really, I thought, really, really good. Was that the? Sorry, just wait half an hour while he had a drink. Was that true, Kate?
Yes, it was. Unbelievable. It was a brilliant away day. When I bought my ticket, I bought them as soon as they came on sale for me. So that was probably around the Plymouth and Millwall matches that they came on sale. So I was like, oh God, why am I doing this to myself? It felt like it was going to be a real struggle, but I was like, do you know what? I've never been to the ground. The team might need as many people up there as possible. And I saw that Preston had given us 5,500. And I was like, we're never going to sell that many because it was moved to the Monday night. And a good 4 or 5 days post ticket sale where everybody could then access them, there was probably a third gone. And then obviously the results started coming in the following weeks and they just went like hotcakes then. And then it was just a great atmosphere. It was such a party carnival atmosphere. You had all sorts going on. I was next to the blow up doll, obviously. I had this blow up giraffe down the way. I had a unicorn. There was party poppers. There was all sorts, confetti. It was just it's what you go to the football for, really. It makes the bad times not seem so bad.
No. And then we lost to Blackburn. It really did not matter. I said, and I asked an Ipswich fan this, that Preston, they were on the beach. They were playing in the flip-flops. If I'd have been a Blackman, if I'd have been a Ipswich or a Leeds fan, I would have been so annoyed at Preston.
You there, Kate?
Because, all right, they've got nothing to play for. They weren't going up. They weren't affected. It affected the top of the table. So they should have put an effort in. But then when I look at the game when we lost to Blackburn, you could say exactly the same about us. Because, we really didn't turn up. We were hung over by the look of it.
But what about last year when Bournemouth lost to Everton?
Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? I mean, it
happened. But even so, it's the same thing. Last game of the season, Bournemouth didn't turn up.
No,
that cost us.
We could have affected. Blackburn could have gone down and Birmingham could have stayed up. I didn't want them to, but it could have. But it wasn't the best performance, was it?
No, we wanted to win, but you can't say that. I mean, I thought it would be like the Everton game when we won the league because we were awesome. We could have got 4. I think Vard missed a penalty, didn't he, against Everton?
Yeah.
So we could have had 4 or maybe even 5. We were awesome that day. And I thought it might be like that, but clearly not. And I was as disappointed as anybody. But, you know what? We've done the job. And that's, we said for weeks and weeks before, finishing second would be enough. And we did better. And it was fantastic. Great feeling.
Kate, though, it was more like the Brighton game, wasn't it? After we got promoted last time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I didn't care. It would have been nice to get the 100 points, but do you know what? It felt, as much as it seems a blink of an eye since August, it's also felt a really long season. Glug, glug, glug. And it's also felt a really long season, and the players must feel that even more so. So it's been such a tough 2024. So I didn't care that they were on the beach, soaking up the atmosphere, you know, playing in the sunshine, not needing to do anything at breakneck speed. I'm all for it. Like, why break your neck when you don't have to? You've done it. You've done it. The objective is achieved. Champions.
It's ironic, isn't it? And funny that next year we'll still be playing this time of year, but we'll only have 38 games to play.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah. So that
when you look at
shows
some
what
of
they've
those
done.
months that I put up, was it December? If I go back to December,
was
we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We
7
played
in
8 games in December.
Well, 7 in April.
Yeah.
It was 8 in April. Yeah, well, yeah, May there, but yeah.
And these are vital games, weren't they? I mean, to be fair, Millwall away was disgraceful. And Plymouth away was awful. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Endo should have been sacked, shouldn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kate, Christ, she travelled down there. It must have been horrible coming back. I mean, what do you do? I mean, I remember going to all these away games. I remember it very well. Coming back, all you've got on your mind is we lost. There's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else to think about. You don't think, well, what the hell am I? Why did I go? Because that's what you do. But you think, we've lost. What else is there? You know, what are we going to do?
Yeah,
it's horrible. And Plymouth,
but like you say, we'd done it. We'd won. We were champions. A very quick look at the cups there. EFL away to Burton and Tranmere beat them 2-0. Lost to Liverpool. Again, a scoreline that didn't reflect. We actually went 1-0 up on that game, didn't we?
Are they Danish? Did we lose in Denmark?
Liverpool, yes. Fuck off. You don't know how many mistakes I found doing this that I corrected, and this one slipped through.
We all make mistakes, Chris, don't we?
Put together. Look, copy and paste isn't a strong point of mine. FA Cup, we beat Millwall. We managed to have a good second half against Birmingham. We absolutely played and demolished Bournemouth. Chelsea, I mean, we got what we deserved against Chelsea, in fairness. You can't argue that. It was a very lucky goal that got us back into it. Talking about records, because obviously at the start of the season, we were going to get 116 points. We were on for the record, blah, blah, blah. And then we turned it round, having had a bad few months to, we just want to finish second. But this was our season. Most wins, 31. Fewest draws, 4. Third fewest losses, 11. Second most goals, 89. Fewest goals conceded, 41. Biggest goal difference, 48. Most home wins, 17. And most away wins, 14. Not bad, that, is it, Kate?
No, not at all. I mean, it just shows how well we've done, really, and how costly. It shows also, we had this in when we got relegated from the Premier League all those years ago. It shows how costly draws are, because we didn't have many, and that's what's helped massively, because you're going to lose. It's quite scary to think we've basically lost 1 in every 4 matches and still won the league, because you would never have guessed that at the start of the season. But the stats don't lie. The stats absolutely don't lie. And it's good to see that our home and away form have been pretty balanced as well.
Yes. Dave, question for you.
Chris, go on.
That's my name. Since the turn of the century, how many? I may have asked you this before, but I don't think I have asked you. Since the turn of the century, how many teams have won 30 plus games in the EFL in an EFL Championship season?
Oh, goodness me!
Turn of the century makes it sound like it was years ago. Well, it is. It's 25. 25 years ago.
Of course, yeah. I doubt if any have. Maybe one. Do
you know, Kate? Have I asked you this before?
Well, this is it, because I'm blonde. You have asked me, but I can't remember.
I'm blonde.
I've got no hair. Stop bragging, you two.
I'll say one as well. Look.
Have you got one of those never empty glasses? Because you keep emptying it, and then next time you hold it up.
I think my mother's got one of them.
Yeah. Here we
I
go.
love your mother, but I've never met her.
6 teams
She's
have done
partial
it.
to Rouge.
Wolves did it in 17-18. Fulham.
Oh, really?
Man
Oh, my
City,
God,
Reading,
that's a lot.
Newcastle. And Leicester have done it twice.
6
Last
teams.
Yeah. Last time we went up, we won 30-plus games. And, of course, this season, the only team in the league to win 30-plus games.
I forgot Newcastle. Yeah, they were, and Reading were brilliant, weren't they?
Yeah, it was a
Gosh, Man City this,
you know.
Man City this, what's it called?
And Fulham. I can't
Century.
Fulham. Yeah. But there we go. Leicester City do it twice. So good.
Can I just say, Wolves, Fulham, Reading all came back or nearly came back down. Certainly, Fulham were. Roy Hodgson saved them, I think, that year, didn't he? They were relegation until about 6 or 8 games from the end, and they won 6 or 7 of them. So there was something. Yeah, my son-in-law's a Fulham boy. That's all I remember.
No idea whatsoever. So I'll go with
Reading had Steve Coppell in charge. Did they? When was that? What year was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he resigned, and it all went pear-shaped, something like that. Because I remember going to Reading with Andy Sutton, who probably you know is a supporter of the channel.
Yes.
And that I remember. Yeah, it's a struggle.
Welcome to all our yesterdays.
No, but you have to learn from history, don't you?
You do. Oh no! You can't rewrite history.
And learn from Burnley last year, because this is the next topic, isn't it? We're talking about the season ahead. Anyway, Burnley. Sorry, Kate. Would you like to say something?
You crack on.
Okay.
Have a drink. Take a breath, Dave, and have a drink.
I thought Chris had some more trivia questions. He asked me some.
No, because the next one is so obvious. If I said to you, who is the top scorer? No, this was it. Sorry. Most second-tier titles ever.
Yeah.
Leicester. And that was the one I wanted because we were joint top with Manchester City. And I wanted...
Well, I suppose,
personally, I wanted that so much. It hurt. Yeah, the
especially if you got
points. Put a bloody penny in your meter.
Well, I have. Just a penny.
Get Kathy winding it up more at the back.
Kathy, lights have gone out. So I don't.
But no, I wanted that so much because unless Manchester City are going to get dumped out the Premier League because of their alleged discrepancies, which they're not going to, they're never going to fall down again to get that. I think it'll be a long time. It also means, obviously, we've been relegated more often than the other teams.
Well, that's why I wasn't so sure about why would you want to celebrate that? But then, to be fair, if you're down there, you might as well win it.
Exactly.
We
are top. Manchester City, who are you? But look, Kate, we're supposed to be in talks with Jamie Vardy. If we don't sign him, we're going to miss him, aren't we? 20 goals in a season at 37 in the second tier. God, what will we do without him?
You weren't keen at the start of the season when I was chatting about this.
No, I will admit, and I have said this even on national radio, I have said, write this guy off at your peril, because I have done this so many times. He's going to be sub this year. Oh, he'll be the super sub. He'll come on for the last 10 minutes to scare defences. No, he was the one that was on from the start. I said he wouldn't play midweek and weekend. He's 37. He can't do it. Yes, he can. Full 90 minutes Wednesday, full 90 minutes Saturday. And 20 goals, 18 of those in the Premier League. That's what the number in the brackets is, by the way. What a play. We've got to sign him, haven't we? I mean, people are saying he's going to Wrexham. Bugger off. He's not going to go to Wrexham.
He's not. And like I sent on one of the videos to you in the week, Chris, you don't give your shirt away to a fan in the crowd on your last game for that club ever. You just don't do that. He gave his shirt away on Saturday. He's been absolutely phenomenal, and it's good in a way because he's just amazing. And I think Harry Winks' latest interview, which I keep meaning to watch actually, which I think was on Football Focus last Saturday, he said training with Vardy is just almost mythical because he's got a body of a 30-year-old. He was like, you cannot tell that he's as old as he is, and he's looked after his body. Obviously the Red Bull diet works with the cheese and ham omelette or whatever he has. And also, more importantly, he joined the game so much later than everybody else. You know, when you look at someone like Harry Kane, who's been through academies and trained in and out probably since he was 8 years old, which does damage to your body. All pro players will tell you it's the training that kills your legs. Vardy's just not had that. He's joined later. But what more worrying on the flip side is that we haven't got a backup. We haven't got any good enough backups.
Well, I can see Cannon hopefully coming through next season.
Yeah, still unproven to a degree, isn't he?
He is, but he's the best of the three options.
Yeah,
again,
we've not got anybody that's like, I'd rather have you today because Vardy isn't quite at it, or there's no one to rival or challenge Vardy.
No. I mean, if you if people want to go and watch the award show with Rob Tanner, you know, he sort of says who might be here and who might not be here. You know, Vardy. Well, we're talking. We can't announce anything yet, but we're talking to him. Kelechi is gone, as far as Rob seems to think. You know, he's out of contract. He'll go. He's on a good wage, so that'll help on that side. Now, he thinks Daka will be sold. My question, Dave, was who the hell would buy him?
I think he's a quality player, but not for us. I don't think he's had a good time with us. And sometimes it gets in your head, doesn't it? That, you're a decent player. I mean, he's a bit lovable. So you think, well, maybe it's just not worked for him here. You know, he scored a lot of goals early on, but that was in sort of kind of Mickey Mouse games, wasn't it, to be fair? Maybe it's just not happened. And he's a very serious confidence player. You saw that when he came off the other game, and he just shattered. He was just gutted. And I think he's a very nice, articulated guy, and he thinks a lot. And you shouldn't think too much. Vardy don't think. He just misses a ball, smacks himself, and gets on with it. And then next week he'll do the same again.
He does.
But I think someone just mentioned Germany. I don't know who that was, but
Nate.
Yeah, someone like that, or Nate, or the Netherlands, or somewhere like that. And he could score a lot of goals, and we'll think, oh God, why didn't he do it for us? That's what happens. Yeah, we've had a few of those players. Akinbaye, people like Roger Davis. You know, he was a star at Derby. He couldn't even kick a ball at Leicester.
Even like Kramaric, Kramaric didn't get
Yeah, I loved him. I thought he was brilliant.
He didn't really get a chance, did he?
He went to Hoffenheim and set the world on fire with Hoffenheim.
He was. I think you could definitely put him under the one that got away bracket. What surprised me is Mavididi being our second highest goal scorer.
Yeah, unreal. 13 and 12 as well. What about that for a turnout? For a winger, brilliant. What's that? Pretty much 1 in 3. If my maths is right.
The 12. Sorry, that's how many goals in the Premier League.
In the Championship, you mean?
In the Championship,
you're the financial advisor, Kate. You tell me.
Well, so roughly. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
1 in 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So.
Why is that surprise? Why is that surprise?
Just because he's a winger.
I just don't remember him. Yes, I remember him scoring goals, but I didn't think he was. It'd be second. You know,
I thought KDH would be up there for sure, but he's got. I wouldn't have thought that at all, really.
But did most of those goals come early season or up to mid season, or not the end of the season? Because I think defences sussed him out towards the end, and that's why we lost our way a bit, because we were playing the same way. He was cutting inside to try and do that, And we were predictable, and Mavadini was predictable.
Yeah.
And whereas when he first came into it, nobody could deal with it.
Andreas, in answer to that, he did well. I mean, most of those 7 goals actually came pre-AFCON. Every time you do that, Dave, we lose you. Just to say, every time you play with you.
You got me now.
Yes, we got you back. Yeah. He just went to a bad stage where he was missing sitters, and when you're sort of going for a win, a championship title, that's the main reason. He was basically missing sitters. But look, Kate, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that 97, 100 would have been nice. Everybody said they wanted it, but look, it doesn't matter. We won't remember this in years and going, we only got 97 points and we're only 1 point above Ipswich when we were 17 ahead at one point. All we remember is that we won the bloody league and we were champions.
Yeah, I know so many people on the outside looking in at Leicester think that we were odds on and highest wage bill and all that nonsense. I don't know why people talk about a wage bill when a few seasons before were 5th in the Premier League. Of course you're going to have a high wage bill because of where we've fallen from. That's how big the fall has been from grace. So I never thought it was odds on. I wanted playoffs and could only dream and hope that we got automatic promotion spots because that's being realistic. I think it's insulting to think or assume that you're going to win this league, and whoever comes down from the Premier League this year will have a hard fight on their hands because the teams down there are decent. There's some dross, don't get me wrong, but when teams have their day, it's as competitive, if not more so, than the Premier League. And it's been a great season. I've enjoyed it, warts and all. I've absolutely loved it.
No, totally.
It's the best league in the world. It is the best league in the world.
I would say so,
yeah. And
Neil Warnock said something that
we got VAR back, Dave.
Oh,
I knew that would shut him up. Right, let's go on to this. I did ask everybody to, well, not everybody. I asked all the presenters, and everybody filled it in. Unfortunately, Craig had some bad news, so he wasn't taking part. But I asked you for your signing of the season, most improved player, match, goal, young player that I had to put the age up from under 21 to under 25 so I could get some alternate players in. And player of the season. And what we did, and as I say, I'm not going to say who's won, but we are going to go through our nominations. If you want to know who's won and have a celebratory glass of wine, what you can do is you can go over to the YouTube channel and check out basically the award show. And you'll see Rob Tanner from The Athletic picking the winners. Now, in case you have forgotten who you've picked, signing of the season, we all agreed. Let's go to you with this one, Kate. We all went Harry Winks, and I think it was Luke went Abdul, but I think it was always going to be Harry Winks, wasn't it, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, he's just everything that the team's built on. A thoroughly nice guy who has applied himself so well, and you can tell that he's living his best life. He's enjoying his football the most that he has done in his career, and he's openly said that. And particularly in the first 6 months, I don't think he put a foot wrong. He covered every blade of grass, and I've never seen a player in a Leicester shirt be able to get out of a sticky spot as easily and as naturally as Harry Winks. Like, you think he's going to lose the ball in possession deep into our own half, and somehow he finds space, distributes the ball and moves the play forward. And yeah, he's been a delight to watch. I've really enjoyed it, and that we've got him for an absolute steal. So thanks, Tottenham.
I don't think we've missed Madison, have we, Dave?
No, not at all. Not at all. We've got a guy there that if he didn't play, you'd miss him. But when he's there, you think, what's he done?
Yeah.
And that's your sort of porridge person.
Yeah. We then went on to most improved player, and all three of us agreed with this, and we all went for Yannick. All I will say is Yannick didn't win it, but we all went for Yannick.
Ooh.
And it was Rob said it was why we all went for Yannick all three of us.
Wow.
But, you know, I suppose there wasn't a lot to compare to. But I think, Dave, that, yeah, he was an outstanding player this season, wasn't he?
Well, I don't know about that, but he was most improved player. Yeah, he was so bad last year.
Was he bad or was he just not getting games?
No, he was bad. He's too slow for the Premier League, but he's a great distributor of the ball. He's great on the ball. For a guy that's about 10 foot tall, he can't head a ball. But yeah, most improved means who improved most, and that was Yannick, without doubt.
Well, would you agree, Kate? He didn't win it, but would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, in my head, improved means worse shit, and now they're not so shit, and that's exactly where I got to with Yannick. Like Yannick was absolutely awful last year. Like it was like picking Daniel Amati. You are asking to be rinsed. But this year it took some convincing on my part, I will admit that. But what Enzo wants from that defender and that positioning is distribution. What Enzo wants is distribution, and I think Yannick's I think Yannick's probably the best distributor of in the team.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
And to be honest, Kate, I thought that at Southampton when he played there. Stop it.
He's watching. He's always watching. He's like Andy Murray's mother.
Yeah. He's a different centre back. Daniel Amati.
He's a midfielder. We signed him as a midfielder.
But yeah, go on, Yannick. Go on.
Yeah.
No, right. I thought, I can't remember what I was going to say now, so it doesn't
matter. Now, match of the season, we all disagreed. And if you want to see, one of us was the winner. And if you want to see you've got to go and check out the video and watch that, because I need you to watch it. Can I just say, by the way, talking of videos, the Blackburn game, I think we're on something like 15,899 views. So if anybody's not watched it yet, will you please nip over and have a look at that on LTID TV? Just search. It's in the pick category. Leicester City 0, Blackburn 2. I need 101 to get to the 16,000. It's just annoying me now. I'm so close. But yeah, so match of the season. I went for Southampton 1, Leicester 4, and I went for that one simply because it was the first big game, if you like, for me. It was how I was going to judge us this season. Like I say, we were playing an ex-Southampton team that had beaten us twice, and we demolished them. And to me, that was our first statement win, if you like. Dave, you went for Leicester 5, Southampton 0, as a lot of people did, in fairness.
Yeah, because we were getting so close, but that was a massive game to prove our point. And I was nervous about it. And I thought, I'm going to take him out next week. I thought that was a big statement for the last, couple of games or whatever. Yeah. That was a massive statement because Southampton were starting to come back. They were, I don't know whether it was too late, for them to get automatic, but certainly it was a chance for them to prove themselves ready for the playoffs. And we demolished. Absolutely.
Oh.
And I only, and have you lost me again? And
you're right.
So that, hey?
You're okay. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. But yeah, and that's why, and I thought that was just icing on the cake. Absolutely fantastic.
Kate, you went for Leicester City 2, West Bromwich Albion 1.
Yes, I did, just because it wasn't a very enjoyable watch. It was seat your pants, looking between your fingertips kind of football. But I was so nervous for that match because it was just a knife edge. If we'd have lost that, I feel like it would have been an absolute sucker punch, and I'm not sure it was insurmountable. So Hamza's clearance is off the line. It was just summed up the team camaraderie and, united front that we were able to put on and perform collectively to literally pull us over the finishing line. That's what it felt like, that performance.
Yes, yeah. And then goal of the season, we all went different as well. I went for the one that nearly wasn't, Harry Winks versus West Bromwich Albion away, simply because it was the celebration and the way, you know, it was the ultimate breakaway goal, wasn't it, really? You know, and I'm trying to think who passed it to Winks.
KDH.
Was it KDH? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he'd have taken that on, you wouldn't have argued with it, would you? Because you'd have think, well, yeah, he's won. But I mean, I've never seen Harry Winks run that fast before. Got on the end of it, nearly went on his arse, but managed to get it in off the post. And so to me, it was just the whole thing, not the goal itself, but the atmosphere and the way we scored it. Dave, you went for Harry Winks away.
QPR, wasn't it?
Yes, QPR in October.
Yeah. I think because it was so. When you stop doing that, I'm getting all excited here. I went for the goal, but actually now you said it, I get the West Brom one because I was jumping up and down on the settee when that went in.
Yeah.
And he nearly missed it, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I thought to myself after, if he'd have missed that, instead of scoring, that could have killed our season in a funny way.
Definitely.
But no, I thought his goal against QPR was incredible. Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
And we needed it. We needed it as well.
We did. I think that got us the win, didn't it? Kate, you went for Ricardo versus Watford away on the 10th of February.
Yes, because that was where Harry Winks won it deep in our own half and just set Ricardo off, and Ricardo ran the whole length of the pitch, and the defender was trying his best to catch up with Ricardo and keep pace with him. He tries to hack him at the last minute, and then Ricardo does a 1-2 with Fatawu and blasts it in the back of the net, and it was just absolutely a joy to watch. But there's been a few. I mean, when we were going back through the things earlier in the programme, the Birmingham off the bar and then KDH running up with it, that was unbelievable as well. That was pure euphoria. I've never known a turnaround like that. 20 seconds of nearly conceding and hitting the bar to then running up the other end and scoring was, there's been a few good ones. And those two that you mentioned were definitely on my list when I was thinking about it as well.
All I will say is one of those won it, but I'm not saying which one. We've then gone from goal of the season to young player. Look, we literally nobody didn't go for this player, and I don't think it's any surprise in that at all. And then I had to increase it from under 21 to under 25, just so I could put some choice and make it exciting on the awards evening show. That it wasn't just going to. But look, we all went for Fatawu. Anybody else, Dave? Nobody really, was there?
Nah, nobody. That's the easiest choice I had to make.
Yeah.
What? I've done nothing.
Look at the bottom of your screen, Dave.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Where's Wally?
I don't dislike him that much. I just thought he gave away too many goals. That's all.
Where's Danny?
Oh dear,
Christopher, now you're being childish.
It'll be so much fun.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
Kate.
Not talking to you anymore.
Well.
You're not my best friend anymore.
Just like Big Dan's your best friend.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know about that.
Fatawu.
Brilliant. He's one of those people that would have been a nightmare as a child because you wouldn't have been able to contain his excitement every day. Like him on Christmas morning would just be both amazing, but also, oh my God, you've got up at 3:00 in the morning, Abdul. It's time to go back to bed. He's just a joy to watch. He's so infectious with his happiness and love for Leicester. Like they always say don't fall in love with a lone player, but I think we all did within about 5 games. And you can see how disappointed he is in himself sometimes. And he scored a few belting goals. The one against Bournemouth was brilliant. Yeah, and he's just got a Leicester heart, hasn't he? It's exactly the type of attitude and application that we want from players. You know, you're not always going to be the best and the most skillful or the best on the day, but just have the right attitude, and he always does.
Yeah.
You know what, Kate? The players take him in as well.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of our club. Everybody is part of it. They take them all in. And this is what makes Leicester so special. You know, and that's why we won the title, you know, because we're special, and everybody's part of it. It's fantastic. And whoever says we can't do it again, I don't believe them. So what's you laughing at now? It's true, though, isn't it?
Where's Danny?
And what's she done now, Puff? Your mum and dad are still watching.
My dad feels the same as you about Daniel Amati, actually, Dave. So
cheers, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Daniel, what? You've
Hope it goes well.
Much. You've drunk.
It was terrible. Chris, he was terrible. I'm sorry. I mean,
his big brother will come in and get you. His big brother's here. There you go.
I know. I've never seen anybody do a short pass as stylishly as him. Yeah. I mean, he's horrendous. I mean, his best position was in the box because his head was straight on that ball if he wanted to be. We could do with him now. All the defenders that go up and what? I'm going off on one. Sorry. He certainly can't defend or couldn't defend. Probably doesn't now. He's probably playing.
What did I say about we always got to have a player we hate?
He's probably playing in midfield now.
Player of the season. We all went for a different player. Now,
really? Wow.
Yes. I went for Big Dan. No, I went for.
How do you know he's?
I went for Jamie Vardy. I went for Jamie Vardy. And the reason I went for Jamie Vardy was, look,
he's Jamie Vardy.
You keep thinking that he's over and it's his last season. He's only just going to be a sub for the last 10 minutes. He keeps proving everybody wrong. He was made captain, and you know what he did as a captain? He realised we weren't playing well. He said to all the players, right, we're going to have a meeting, just the players, we're going to sort this out. And he led that meeting. He organised the meeting. That's what you want your captain to do. As I say, he also was our top goal scorer with 20 goals in a season at 37. Bloody amazing. That's why, for me, he was my player of the season. Dave,
I agree with you.
But, well, you didn't at the time because you went Harry Winks.
I did.
Yes.
And because the same thing as I said earlier.
Who did you pick? Sorry, I misheard that.
Sorry, sweet.
Who did you pick? Sorry, I misheard that.
Harry Winks.
But
the reason I did
TV screen suggests that you picked Daniel Amati.
the reason I picked Harry Winks is because what is that? What are you eating?
Oh, it's just a nail file.
Okay. No, I'm a bit concerned.
You file your nail? I throw mine away.
Oh no! Can I just make my? Sorry, can I make my point?
Yes. Have you got one?
No, I haven't actually. I've forgotten it now. I picked Harry Winks because it's a midfielder that, a bit like John Samuels, Chris. If you remember John Samuels,
I do.
We moaned about him when he played. When he didn't play, we missed him. And Harry Winks is a similar player. He doesn't do anything too spectacular, but he's solid. A bit like actually how Danny Drinkwater was. You know, he didn't do anything too special, but he was always there. We've had a lot of players like that in the past, and we said, well, you know, you do this, do that, shoot, do this, blah, blah. But when you're not playing, we miss you. And I think that's the reason I picked him. But you're right with Vardy, to be fair.
And then Kate went with, who did you go with, Kate?
I went with KDH.
Yeah, good point.
Is Dave just going to wish he picked everybody?
Well, Kate, to be fair, with the season we've had, it could have been anybody, couldn't it?
But yeah, KDH for me, just because I felt like for the majority of the season, he was just our driving force. As much as I think him and Harry Winks were our yin and yang defensively and attacking. And yeah, I just felt like he really came of age, and he kept his promise. He said that he'd get us back. He said that he wanted to pay his dues, and he's done that and some. And he's a future captain for sure. I'm not sure how long we'll keep him. We've just got to treasure that. But he's class. He has his moments. Sometimes when he can be off it, he can be really off it. And I think fatigue has played a massive part of his last couple of months because he gives it his all. There's probably not many players that run more than him. But yeah, he's considering he lost his way a bit last year. For a young lad who's only ever known Leicester, he's been able to be emotionally mature and just stand up to the challenge, really.
And you know sellable assets, he may not be with us for the Premier League campaign.
He'll be with us. He'll be with us. We're not
if
selling
we need
him
the
now.
money, you know, he is our most.
We don't need the money, Chris. We don't need the money.
They'll say take the points hit.
Sorry, Kate.
We'll be all right.
They'll say take the points hit. We ain't selling.
Yeah. Top will take the points hit.
Well,
yeah.
I hope you're right.
KDH don't want to go. So, you know, we wouldn't do that.
He doesn't, but it's not always the case of what the player wants. Sometimes you've got to do
it's not.
You have to do. But
sometimes at Leicester it is. At Leicester it is.
Yeah,
he will. He'll stay.
He's on still got a few years left on his contract. We won't be going for 20 million that Brighton offered for him in January.
No, Kate, if we're wrong, he's going to throw this down our throats, isn't he, in the future?
I'm busy that day.
I'm hurt. That's not an
as much as I will say, you said Vardy was dispensable at the start of the season.
Oh, we'll bring that one up.
The season, so isn't that just humble pie?
I have eaten humble pie, and
he also said Marty was good.
No, I just felt like he got unfair criticism from you, Dave.
He also likes Eurovision.
And Marty's really good at hide and seek, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
The question
he's probably a very nice guy.
The question is, Daniel and Marty, hide and seek champion or missing person?
I don't know.
Thinking about that.
I don't understand. Right there, Dave. Is the wine evaporated?
No, Daniel and Marty. Yeah, it's all gone there.
Right, it's all gone, and we're at the end of the show. So
Kathy bought another one.
Yeah, just in time for Dave to go and get another bottle. Guys,
to be fair, that was my birthday present.
That's what it ended up as there. Champions,
ole, ole, ole.
I think she got a wonderful voice.
Part of football. Dave, don't be cheeky.
I'm being nice, I thought. But hey, you can interpret it as cheeky.
Don't forget, artoffootball.com, art-of-football.com. You can get this and many other shirts as well. Kate, thank you so very much. We will be carrying on with the Let's Talk Leicester through the summer, simply because I couldn't bear for you two to be apart.
No, I can't imagine what it would be like in the summer without Kate.
Me neither.
No.
If only for those shorts, eh, Dave?
I didn't even notice. Right. I'm a gentleman.
It's a bit worrying that it's blue. Kate, where can people find you?
That doesn't look like it.
They can find me.
What is it? Oh,
They can find me at Kate Blakey 40 on Twitter or X.
There you go. Dave, just so you can screenshot.
I'm on that as well, but I don't know what it is. So don't
Kate
worry
will
about
tell
it.
you. Kate will tell people
No,
how
it's
to
okay.
follow you.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
How
Don't
can
follow
people find you, Dave?
Ooh, I don't know really.
He's on X.
Yeah, surreyhillsradio.co.uk. Listen to all our shows; they're brilliant. Seriously, and we got so many different people doing shows. It's incredible.
Dave is also on X/Twitter at Dave SM, as in Smith 31771465.
You know what they say? They say you can change that, but I can't. I've tried.
You can change your name.
No, they say you can change your what is that Dave?
Handle.
Yeah, they said that.
You can change like my ex Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is Leicester Till I Die, LTID TV, but I'm still at Leicester TID.
Well, I've got 4 Twitter accounts apparently, of which two have been suspended.
Well,
so
you and your suspenders, mate. You know,
Blame Marty.
I like him. He's a nice guy. He's just rubbish at football. He's not a defender.
You see, every time you mention his name, he pops up to see what you're saying. Guys, thank you so much.
Daniel,
I
how you
don't know
doing,
when the next one will be. It might be next Monday. I'm not sure. But thanks very much. We're champions. Let's celebrate. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
And I'll see you all. At the next show.
Bye. Bye, Dan.
Take care. Be good.
Oh,
Bye, everybody.
Dave. You're not getting one back from Kate, are you? Look.
That's for you. That's for you, Chris.
Oh God, I'm off. See you all. Bye. Thanks to Dave and thanks to Kate there. That was a long one, as the actress said to the Archbishop, but a good show. I love doing these shows. And I hope you enjoy it too. If you did, smash the likes button. Really, really appreciate it. And if you are watching on catch up, please do. If you've got any comments, add it on below on YouTube. I say, or click it a like as well. I don't know, Nate. I don't know. I'm doing one with Dave Bartram from Show Waddy Waddy on Monday, but that's for the radio, not for the show. And Jamie says goodbye. I think you'll find with most channels, a lot of the conversation shows came up during COVID because obviously they couldn't do the punditry duties. You see. If anybody knows Ian Wilson, give him a kick. I've been trying to get him on the channel for about 3 years. But thanks very much, guys. If you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate it. I'm back tomorrow night with Brad. Dave might be on again and might even have Steve Leinix back. I do not know. Whatever, me and Brad will be here at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you then. And have a good evening. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.